What's up, guys? Nick here. This is going to be another market review following up the Sunday market blitz. So just a quick refresher for you guys. Beginning of each week, every Sunday, Angelo and I come together on a live session and we give you guys all of our analysis for the week ahead. So we focus on the 4-hour. We break down two different scenarios, both bullish and bearish, give you guys the most likely scenarios for that week, right? And then at the end of the week, we review it. We see how accurate the analyses were. We cover them and just essentially review. So let's just get right into it. I always start off with DXY, which we don't actually trade, more or less an indicator. It's the strength of the US dollar. So we want to know what the dollar is doing because it makes up for 80% of all trade. So that's a pretty big power. It's a pretty big influence on the market. I want to know what it's doing pretty much at all times, So it was consolidating last week. We're expecting it, if it were to continue bullish, which is the overall, trends that we're lining up, overall bullish, we're looking for price action to kind of clear this range, give us a higher low, and then continue towards the upside. That was definitely the most likely if it were to play out bullish. But then, the other scenario, the bearish scenario, is that it just continues ranging. So that maybe push up again, reject off this level, more or less just play around between these two zones. So let's see how this one played out. Okay, continued to play for a little while, ultimately broke, came back down into the zone again, gave us another low point, and then pushed back through this 96.3 area. So really now we're looking for that next level. We want to see DXY kind of get its footing here above this range. So really still looking for that higher low. Okay, but it definitely appears to be more bullish. This was definitely a nice break here, kind of weakening resistance. So pretty accurate. Didn't follow the trade path perfectly, but the bias was right. Okay, so let's move over to AU. This one was primarily bearish. We did see a pretty massive pullback. This was fairly bullish here on the 1-hour. And really, for us to continue bullish on into the 4-hour, we needed to clear this little pattern over here. This is where the first lower high was after breaking through 0.72 support. And then it, gave us a lower high, securing price action below that zone, and then it dropped. And then here was that pullback. So until we clear that, we're still technically bearish. We could get that continuation here. A nice transition of 0.71, the next lower high, then we enter short on that. Okay, so that was the most likely, really just trying to ride the trend, line it up with the most probable idea. And that was to go short. So we really just want to see this play out, catch that lower high, and then we were targeting down towards our monthly. Right, so if it did break above 0.72, we wanted the higher low, and then it was bullish from there. So let's see how it played out. Okay, so it pushed lower a little bit. Didn't give us the retest we really were hoping for. It did push lower, but it found some rejection, and the bull stepped in. So we're still technically, looking for a reversal. We're still below 0.72 here. It did make a nice attempt at it there, but not really a break. So we are still technically bearish. I'm still looking for that lower high below 0.71. And then hopefully we can catch some nice trades into next week if the volume's not too low anyway. So same thing kind of here. We're following the bias. Overall still bearish, but it didn't really execute on either of these trade paths. All right, so let's move over to AJ. This one was very similar to AU. Overall bearish. That experienced recently a pretty big pullback to a key level. Okay, it didn't really break anything according to this 4-hour. Still bearish. Looking for it to either give us a nice reversal and some conviction to enter short on, or it's just going to blow through this level and change the 4-hour trend to bullish. So let's see how it played out. Okay, so this did originally push down towards 80.4. However, it didn't break it. Pushed back up. It attempted 81.5 again. Now it did push above it, but it didn't really confirm structure above it or anything. We didn't get a higher low. Price action trickled back down below that level. And from here, these trade paths are still valid, but I wouldn't really consider price action to be playing out. They didn't really do anything this past week. This is more or less sideways movement. This is a nice bit of volume here, but it didn't hold above. So more or less, not that helpful. Okay, so mind these two zones, 81.5, 80.4. Price action still between that. Really just want to see a higher low above or a lower high below to, catch some sort of trend here. Because this is not great movement, not great structure at all. Okay, so that's AJ. Let's move over to UJ. So this one was a mess. If you guys caught the Sunday market blitz, I was kind of talking bad about UJ here. There was really nothing pretty about this chart whatsoever. It was pretty much between, it's just in traffic, right? There's so many zones here. We have recent broken structure there. We have a higher time frame level there, a miniature range happening, and then, higher time frame level up there as well. So just a lot of traffic. Nothing great here. No trend whatsoever. It was moving sideways, but I did give you guys 2 trade scenarios. So this is what would need to happen for me to be interested in entering on a trade here on UJ. So if we were to go bullish, I want to see price action clear 114 up here, give us a higher low, and then, nice conviction candlesticks for us to enter on. If price action were to push lower, I want to see a lower high below 112.7, because we've fished into this level many times and then saw sharp reversals, right? We don't want to get caught on any sort of lower high in here thinking it's going to break the zone, and then all of a sudden it's back up at 114. So we really want to make sure it clears either 112.7 or 114.15. So let's see how it played out. Okay, same thing. Still between, all this traffic, all these zones. Didn't play out. No trend is apparent here. Just moving sideways. So I'm going to stick to these trade paths. I mean, we were expecting just really no trades here on UJ this week because we just saw how much it had to prove for us to really get into a good area. So right now it's kind of squeezed up into the upper half here between 113.45 and 114.15. So we'll keep an eye on this one into next week. But, as we get closer to these holidays, it is more likely that, all these pairs are going to slow down in volume, especially the US dollar. So I'm not expecting too much out of UJ these next couple of weeks. Let's jump over to EJ. This one was looking pretty good. We were consolidating for a little bit, but overall the trend was bearish. So it made it very easy. And this was a high volume range too. So it made it very easy to understand what needed to happen for us to enter a trade, right? If we were going to continue bearish, looking for a reversal near 128.85, catch some nice setups, good conviction, boom, we're short, targeting 127.5. If we were to consider this bullish, I needed to see a higher low above 128.85. Very, very clear, right? This is kind of the key level, holding the trend here on the 4-hour. If we had broken that and retested, that's a 4-hour transition. Therefore, we have every right to look long, comfortably anyway. Okay, so let's see how it played out. Okay, so move sideways. Nothing really happened there for a while. Volume did step in. Fake breakout there. Good volume, though. That thing really took off into this zone. Came right back. Gave us the lowest volume. Not a great lower high. I was going to say something else, but not a great lower high. Not a great example. But that's really all that it gave us, really. We didn't have anything else that we could see. So it pushed up, faked out, dropped below, retested resistance, and then tanked immediately. So the bias was pretty right. It's definitely still bearish. It's heading back down towards 127, but the execution was sloppy. There was really not much to short this as it came back into the zone. I mean, we definitely were expecting price action to hit this level again, 128. This was clearly, showing signs of, bullishness as we actually just put this out in rapid signals. There was a great trade opportunity here as this volume was stepping in because this was a rocket ship, right? And this is again a 1-hour trend that's happening between these two levels. So there was a pretty big 1-hour trend, gave us good signals for a nice long opportunity there into the zone. But after that, it wasn't that clear. Wasn't that clear what, on an entry coming back into this zone. Because, that's kind of range trading. Sometimes it happens, So it's heading back down towards 127.5. More or less played out with this bias, but really not that great of structure or movement here on EJ this past week, other than this little buy setup into this. But it happened so quick, so you had to be aware. So going into this next week, the most likely thing is that we're going to keep ranging, right? We know if this is going to continue bearish, we want to see a transition of 127.5, looking short there, but we could easily reverse at 127 and head back up towards resistance. So we'll see. Tough one here on EJ this past week. All right, let's move over to gold for the final. So overall, very bearish. We were keeping our eyes on this one because we were in a pretty good area. We finally just got below 1800. Nice little transition right here. Little bit of consolidation, but we were still primarily short. It's not uncommon for gold to kind of consolidate for a little while before making a massive move. So that's really what we were kind of strapping up for here. Waiting for this consolidation to end, catch that nice conviction to enter short. And we were still below 1800, so we were confident. But what would need to happen for us to consider gold bullish? Clearly, just a transition of these lower highs here, break above, need to see a higher low with conviction into this range once again. So let's see how it played out. So off the bat, it actually played out really, really great. Nice reversal here. We caught a trade again, rapid signals trade. Entered a little bit early, but consolidated, held the level, and then dropped with great conviction. You can see how low it dropped actually all the way over here. Almost hit 1750, and then found massive buying power. Huge rejection there. Pushed all the way back up above 1800. Found a high around 1815, and now it's pulling back. So it did follow through. I mean, it didn't hit 1740, but it did follow this bias. We definitely had a great opportunity to short here on gold this week, and we covered that in rapid signals as well. So good trade here on gold, at least for the first half of the week, and then it came back pretty hard. So just to talk about the future analysis here on gold, we're looking long. It's definitely broken above this level. The closest thing that time-wise to happening is a higher low formation. Therefore, we're really looking potentially to enter long, target up towards this 1825 handle. If not, looking for a break pretty much back below 1800, and then we're waiting for a lower high. But again, guys, we'll have more to say about this on Sunday, where we'll be doing all of this again from scratch, starting over with new analysis and presenting it to you guys. All right, so that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys on Sunday, and if I don't, happy holidays, and I'll see you guys in the new year.